last class we did 2 verses, fifth, 6th verse and 7th verse, Prabhu. Na tad bhashayate suryo na shashanko na pavakah. So this verse, this verse talks about how to surrender. I mean, that's what we started with. They go to Padam Avyayam Tat. He said, like, what is the quality of the object? What happens if they reach there? That Padam is himself. That place, the sun does not shine. We don't need fire, moon, or anything. The person going there will never come back. So here you explain to us with like the different pastimes. Say, for example, the Kalya pastime happened in the afternoon. So how can this happen when there is no sun? And the gopis dance happened during Sharad Purnima, during when there is no moon. How can this happen? And Mataji's, Gopas, they cook food. And if there is no fire, how can they cook? So our world, so you explain to us, like, our world depends upon the sun, moon, and the energy from those. But the spiritual world, they exist only to assist in the pastimes of Krishna. It's not, they are only there for they are only to assist in the Krishna's pastime. No dualities exist because of the sun and moon there. So here you said, explained from Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 3rd chapter, 17th verse. You said, both the rising and the setting, the sun decreases the duration of one's life, of everyone, except one utilizes the time in discussing the topics of the all good personality of a Godhead. Sun, what does the sun in the spiritual planet do? Everything is eternal, right? There is no more decrease of time. So this is, again, same thing. Existing in spiritual world does not reduce a lifetime. Yeah, one should be captivated by these things and to desire to transfer himself to the eternal world and unbind himself from the material world. He also talked about Padyavali verse 11, where you said, Kashyan Nacha Boj. Yeah, I'm just going to read the translation of this. So, like, not by wearing a saffron cloth or not by restricting food or other sense activities, and discussing some dry philosophy, but even you have to get rid of the lust from the heart. And even by only slightest beginning of the devotional service to the lotus feet of the Lord Govinda, who enjoys pastimes on the Yamuna's wide bank, is Kamadeva stopped. Okay, this author is unknown. So which discuss those 2 verses, and that was the verse 6. And verse 7 we talked about, like, this is Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke, very famous verse. And here you explain who is Jiva. Jiva is the fragmental part, and he's a fragmental part living in the Jiva Loka, and he's eternal, Sanatana. This living entity drags all the senses along with the mind as my amsa. A process of creation, you said, it is explained in Canto 3, where Ahankara mixed with Sattva Guna makes mind, Ahankara mixed with Rajoguna makes up the senses like eyes, ear, nose, and Tamogunas makes the ignorance. By surrendering to the Lord, they are all devoid of 6 senses. They receive spiritual senses. And you explained about 5 liberation. Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, Sayujya, and Shashti. Shashti. What, Prabhu? Shashti.
This is Srashti.
Srashti.
S-A-R-S-T-I, right? Srashti.
S-A-R-S-T-I.
A-R-S-T-I. Srashti.
Srashti. Okay. Yeah, like in Vaikuntha Loka, all the residents are similar in form to the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. They engage in the devotional service of the Lord without the desire for sense gratification. Again, 3rd canto, 15th chapter, 14th verse. He showed us the picture how all the entities, everybody looks like same personality of the Godhead, right? Here we had a side conversation of Brahmavadi philosophy. How do they merge into existence? We had like the conversation regarding that, and then you said I have not listened to the complete class, Prabhu. The last one that I listened was quoted from the 10th canto, 2nd chapter, 32nd verse. Although non-devotees, oh yeah, this one, they accept the severe austerities and they think themselves as liberated, but their intelligence is impure. They will fall down from the position of the imagined superiority because they have no regard for your lotus feet. Yeah. So that's all I listened, Prabhu. Last 30 minutes, I was not able to listen.
No. Thank you so much. Yes, we completed. So this verse also hints the power of the mind. It's actually, you know, one can take a little bit tangent. No, tangent is very related to the verse itself, especially the verse, um, verse number 6, where Krishna says, and that bhasyate suryo shashanko na pavaka yat tadvartante tad dhama paramam mama. One can go take that one instance, take that word itself, and go on a ride for a ride of describing spiritual world. So dham paramam, right? So what is Krishna? What is spiritual? What is that world of Krishna? How does it look? So that itself is uh, another can take so many hours and hours and hours and hours unlimited. So for reading about that direction, there are many books which describe that. I think I mentioned some of the seasons mentioned in Gopal Champu. Anand Champu mentions different seasons of Vrindavan, different talks about Giriraj Govardhan. There is a book called Vrindavan Mahimamritam, which talks about the glories of Vrindavan by describing Vrindavan in the Mahimamritam. And so many literatures there. Bhakti Madhvam, they're all literatures which embed, they have the beauties of Vrindavan embedded in it. Then we have this, what to say, Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam has description, especially the chapter in Bhagavatam, 10th canto, called Seasons of Vrindavan. If you see Vedabase, 10th canto, um, Vistikaya, hmm, yeah, the rainy season and autumn in Vrindavan, chapter number 20, the description of rainy season and autumn in Vrindavan. So many, and the commentary by acharyas on this. So it's like never-ending source of description of Krishna's abode, the Dhama Parama Mama. In Chaitanya Charitamrita is mentioned again. So okay, back to our topic. So Krishna mentioned that, and then seventh verse talks about the Krishna is Manashasthani Indriyani. Sixth element is the mind, and Krishna hints at the mind's power to determine the living in its future. Right? How mind is like the magnet which kind of get attracted to different body depending on what we cultivate. So that is this summary. Yes, thank you so much. Very nice as always. So we'll see from verse number 8, right? 15.8. Let me busy. Okay, shall I read?
I can also read, Prabhu,
Okay.
since I am sitting and listening for after a very long time.
Yeah.
I I worked myself today saying that I'm gonna make myself 15.8. Okay, why will this not open? One second, Prabhu.
No problem.
Somehow it's not opening. I know, Prabhu. What was the problem? Okay, finally got you. Okay, now I can. 15.8. शरीरं यत् अवाप्नोति यच्चाप् उत्क्रामतीश्वर गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धं विवाशयत्. शरीरं, the body, yet, as, avapnoti, gets, yet, as, chapi, also, utkramati, gives up, ishvaraha, the lord of the body, grihitva, taking, etani, all these, samyati, goes away, vayu, the air, gandham, smells, iva, like, ashayat, from their source. Translation: the living entity in the material world carries, translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The living entity in the material world carries his different consumption of life from one body to another, as the air carries aroma. Thus he takes one kind of a body and again quits it to take another. Purport: here the living entity is described as Ishvara, the controller of his own body. If he likes, he can change his body to a higher grade, and if he likes, he can move to a lower class. Minute independence is there. The change his body undergoes depends upon him. At the time of death, the consciousness he has created will carry him on to the next type of body. If he has made his consciousness like that of a cat or a dog, he is sure to change to a cat or a dog body. And if he has fixed his consciousness on godly qualities, he will change into a form of a demigod. And if he is in an Krishna consciousness, he will be transferred to a Krishna loka in the spiritual world and will associate with Krishna. It is a false claim that after the annihilation of this body, everything will be is finished. The individual soul is transmigrating from one body to another, and his present body and present activities are the background for his next body. One gets a different body according to karma, and he has to quit this body in due course. It is stated here that the subtle body, which carries the consumption to the next body, develops another body in the next life. This process of transmigrating from one body to another and struggling while in the body is called karshati, or struggle for existence. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Ji. So yes, Krishna saying here is basically a continuation of the previous verse. The previous verse, Krishna said, Manashasthani Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. The conditioned life, the living entities are struggling very hard with six senses, which include the mind. How? Right? How are they? How is it Jiva carrying the senses, basically? In this verse is mentioned, the Shariram yad avapnoti. Avapnoti means body, a living entity. Whenever the living entity gets Shariram, or gets avapnoti Shariram, how? By Utkramati. Utkramati is giving up. By giving up the current body, okay, then what happens? Grahitva. Grahitva means Vena. Grahan karna. Grahitva. When it gets a new body. So the living entity, after living, when it gets a new body, after giving up the current body, how does it do that? So how does the process of um, how does process work? Give example. Mayur gandhani vashayat. Vayu gandhan ivashayat. Ashayat means takes from the source or takes from the flower, bud, whatever, right? When the wind passes over something, it takes the fragrance of the particular thing which it gets contact with, right? So similarly, when Jiva wanders from one body to another, just as the wind, it takes fragrance from one flower bud and travels elsewhere. So when you see, right, when the air, let's say we are sitting on a place and these smell nice, beautiful fragrance, nice fragrance. That means the wind passed over what? Some fragrant object. So air is not the quality, is not the actual scent of the air, but rather the scent of that which the air has come in contact with, right? Similarly, if the air passes through sewage, you get foul smell. Again, it's not the actual scent of the air. Similarly, the soul is trapped within the body, within the mind, is there within the mind. It's not that that's not the actual scent of the living entity. Rather, when we exhibit the fragrant mode of goodness, it's all because of coming soul contact with the different modes. Does that make sense? If living entities are like the air, and all the different modes are like different, like rose flower or sewage, whatever, right? The rose flower is like mode of goodness, or mode of ignorance like sewage. When the living entity goes through that, it carries a fragrance. When it exhibits mode of goodness, it's as if it's carrying that fragrance and exhibiting that, even though the soul is aloof from it. Just like the wind is aloof, it's not the actual scent of the air or wind. Does that make sense? Right?
Yes, Prabhu. It makes sense, Prabhu.
Okay. So, this is the quality of the mind mentioned. Now, seeing,
So when he transmigrates, Prabhu, like wind, which has the scent, it moves from one place to another. Similarly, the soul, while moving from one body to another, what is that scent? Do we take over the
the
quality
mind.
we have now to the next body?
No, not so. See, the mind. So basically, the mind is what carries the scent. So when the soul travels from one body to another, the soul is carried along with the subtle body, ego, intelligence, and mind. Subtle body, right? So now the mind carries all those impressions, all those scents, whatever, and it carries along. Jiva, so when Jiva goes with another body, it carries along the senses along with it. And the senses, which of the prominent is the mind, has store of all impressions. So it takes along, and depending on what this state of mind is, one is in, that kind of body is attained in the next life. That makes sense? Okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
So we could say that scent, whatever, right, is contained in the mind. Okay.
Yeah.
We could say, now, say, like, we'll say walking in a very fragrant place. When you walk somewhere else, someone can smell that oil of a shirt, of your clothes, right? So similarly, that cloth we could say is the mind, carrying all the fragrance, touching whatever dirty things, and we are going along with it. Okay. So basically, Krishna is kind of emphasizing Antakale cha mameva smaran bhaktva kalevaram. Smaran, right? The smaran aspect or the remembrance aspect is the function, vritti of the mind. It's a function of the mind to remember, right? So, yeah, function of the mind. So, what kind of thing we remember at the time of death, right? That is very important. Now, in Padyavari also, this aspect of smell, right? So, let me see if let's say, if they, one second again, I find, um, Krishna's body smells like musk, camphor, and aguru. Aguru is very smelling aguru. It's all mixed. Krishna's natural body fragrance is like that. It's like musk. The other thing, I'm trying to find the verse, one second.
It's 165, Prabhu.
Which one?
I think it's 165, Prabhu.
Which one? What is 165?
Padyavari verse. Or maybe I'm saying different one.
It's 165.
No, not 165. I'm just
Yeah,
looking for.
yeah. It is. That's part of the verse, is right. Puro nirajyosa tatanu
Ah,
mriganabhi. Mriganabhi parimalas. Parimalas basically means the smell. Mriganabhi means, Nabhi means the stomach, right? Of mriga, of deer.
ah,
Deer musk. Yes, you're right. I'm looking for one more verse, one second.
okay, Prabhu.
The verse is, yeah.
That is also here. He has a fragrant with a musk. That is 299, it says. I'm just looking for the word musk,
Yeah,
Prana.
yeah, yeah. So, one second. Mm, anyway, so when Radharani, when she's very depressed or very sad, not going to meet Krishna, sometimes the wind
Hmm.
becomes the agent to help her bring back the mood. And the
Yeah.
wind carries the aroma of
Smell of
Krishna's body,
Krishna.
and vice versa also. And Krishna, and so how to find Shri Radha? Wind carries. So early in the morning when they're waking up, right? So what the wind does is, uh, when the wind blows, it blows over newly found buds, flowers, nice smelling. It blows over that, and what happens? It carries the aroma. Same thing we're talking about,
Yeah.
and it goes and touches the bumblebees. Now, when bumblebees, when they get the hint or the smell, what happens? Bzzz.
Mhm.
They start making the noise, and hearing that particular noise, someone wakes up. Brinda Devi.
Mhm.
When she wakes up, oh, it's morning already. And then she starts making all the arrangements. Okay, oh, rooster, come on, get up and start making the noise. They're making all the bees start making noise, wake the divine couple. So that wind also helps in the pastimes a lot in Vrindavan, carrying the aroma of Shri Krishna, carrying the aroma of Shri Radha to one another in bodily aroma. Okay, so, so these are words which talks about how the potence of the mind, the importance of mind. Mind is that one which is very similar with Bhagavatam also. I think we talked about this in sixth chapter. We talked about sixth chapter.
Hmm.
I talked about this. This Nadmuni says to this one. Who's that person? Prachini Bhavi, fourth canto, at the end. How that mind is the MVP, most valuable player. Now we have tournament where MVPs, most valuable player of the tournament. Mind is the most valuable player. Yeah. So if you can get that valuable player in your team, the chance of winning is very high. You want the best person in the team, right? The best player of the team. So if you can make mind the best player of a team, you can score a lot. So mind is what kind of that can make or break. So so when you say how is the mind the best and best friend or the worst enemy,
Yeah.
depending on whose side is on.
Right.
If the mind is under control, best friend. Not under control, the worst enemy. Right? So it's very important because if you have to train our mind, get it from distractions as much as possible, it's difficult, right? And try to engage our mind as much as possible. So the more we do it, more Amrita says our mind is like a gigo. Garbage in, garbage out. Good in, good out. Either way. Right? So what we put in will come out. And what we put in the mind will come out. So we should train our mind as possible so that at the very end, and this mind we're talking about at in the nectar instruction, the eighth chapter, that mind, the function of mind is called is sankalpa and vikalpa. Vikalpa means you put many options out on the table. Sankalpa means choose one. Okay, ये करेंगे हम लोग. Okay. So now when the mind has so many choice, it picks one. We have to let the mind know is right or wrong. Intelligence will do the job of right or wrong. Right? Now, this process of choosing right or wrong has to be determined by our understanding of the Shastra. Okay? And the function of the mind, the main function, main function of the mind is smaranam, remembrance. And the smaranam has 5 different levels. I think I talked this long back as well previously also. If you see Nectar of Instruction, chapter number 8, Purport by Srila Prabhupada, you will find different levels of smaranam, remembrance by Prabhupada. Dhwan with everything. So here, that which what will in what stage do we have to be in so that we reach the correct destination at the time of death is samadhi. Samadhi means no other object or object in the mind except Krishna. That antikalacha mam
Eva.
eva means only.
Mm.
And that only can only come in samadhi. So we have to consciously make the effort to remember about Krishna. Okay. So, 26, okay. So now we can go to the ninth verse, right? So the quality of the mind is as explained in the so if you see the quality of the mind we talk about in this particular verse. Okay, what is it that attracts the next cross body? We'll talk about this particular verse. Okay, extension. Okay. Hi Mataji, thank you for joining.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Pranam.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhupada. Thank you for joining. Okay, so the ninth verse of the 15th chapter. I can do the verse. Okay.
Or I can also read from.
Yeah, please go, Vijay. Yeah. Thank you.
श्रोत्रं चाक्षुषस्पर्शनंश्च रसनं ग्राहनमेव च अधिष्ठाय मनश्चायं विषयानुपसेवते. Synonyms. Srotram, ears. Chakshu, eyes. Sparshanam, touch. Cha, also. Rasanam, tongue. Granam, smelling power. Eva, also. Cha, and. Adhisthaya, being situated in. Manam, mind. Cha, also. Ayam, he. Vishayan, sense objects. Upasevate, enjoys. Translation brought by His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects. Purport. In other words, if the living entity adulterates his consciousness with the qualities of cats and dogs, in his next life, he gets a cat or a dog body and enjoys. Consciousness is originally pure like water, but if we mix water with a certain color, it changes. Similarly, the consciousness is pure, for the spirit soul is pure, but consciousness is changed according to the association of the material qualities. The real consciousness is Krishna consciousness. When, therefore, one is situated in Krishna consciousness, he is in his pure life. But if his consciousness is adulterated by some type of material mentality, in the next life, he gets a corresponding body. He does not necessarily get a human body again. He can get the body of a cat, dog, hog, demigod, or one of many other forms, for there are 8.4 million species. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Jay. So, for what purpose does does Jiva take a body to go to the next body? So all this stuff. What about all this stuff? Stotram, to hear beautiful sound, to enjoy sense objects. You need senses, right? So to enjoy sense objects, you need the person that they need senses like ears, to smell nice, you need nose, to see wonderful things, eyes, right? To do all, so basically to enjoy upasevate, right? The really takes body after body because the tendency of enjoyment is not gone. I want to enjoy more. I want to do this. I want to do that. So many things to do, right? So for that, the person keeps on taking body, trying to enjoy the sense objects through the senses. Okay, and it says that rasanam, so shotram, hearing, chakshu, seeing, sparshanam, touch, rasanam, taste, grahanam, grahanam is feeling power. Okay, then adhisthaya manascha. Adhisthaya means it's rooted in, or the central point is what? The mind. So all the senses are grouped around the mind, like the palm, right? All the fingers are like the senses, and the palm is the mind. So all the senses are grouped around the mind. Mind is the focal point. Because whatever input we get from all the senses, of all these senses, it goes in the mind for processing, right? So grouped around the mind. And what happened? Vishaya means the objects, upasevate, enjoys, right? So now if you see, Prabhupada Prabhupada says that the consciousness is originally pure like water, but if you mix water with certain color, it changes. So when you say consciousness is mixed, it doesn't mean the soul gets tainted. Because the effect of the living entity being a body is their body is conscious, right? When the conscious is tainted, it doesn't mean the soul is tainted. It's like, better analogy is like you have a colored glass. And if a colored glass, my eyes are not tainted, you could say, or rather, there's something in the eyes, mixed in the eyes. I'm seeing colors based on what is in front of me, right? So all different modes and all different combinations, whatever you see, they are like tinted glasses to we are seeing some things. And that is what consciousness we are absorbed in. Prabhupada says here, the real consciousness is Krishna consciousness. Why? What is the real nature of the jiva? We read in Javedharma also. What is the real nature of jiva?
Swarupena Krishna Das.
Yes, exactly. Jiva Swarup Hoy, Krishna Nitya Das. Right? So Krishna Nitya Das, that means we are eternally servant of Krishna. So Krishna consciousness mean to execute the eternal nature of one's eternal nature. Right? Based on one's eternal nature. That is being servant of Krishna. That is being Krishna conscious. So we are international servant of Krishna consciousness. Now consciousness is when we consciously we do something, which part or senses do we use the most? The mind. Again, the play of mind comes, right? Again, the mind is playing the important role here, right? So when you're saying we're part of the movement of Krishna conscious movement, that means the mind has to be used very heavily. Along with other senses, of course, right? The mind has to be used very heavily. When therefore one is sitting in Krishna consciousness, he is in pure life. So one may start performance of bhakti, uttama bhakti, but one should not expect to get immediate results. One may get also, but we should have the expectation that I should get immediate results. You may get, you may not get. Why is that?
Due to the offenses we have.
Okay, but let's say if we don't, we chant without offense also.
Can you say the question again, Prabhuji?
Yeah. So let's say if you are practicing Uttama Bhakti, right? You're performing links of bhakti, you're chanting, whatever, right?
Yeah.
One should not expect immediate results. Why is that? I mean, you may get, you may not.
And based on prarabdha karma, Prabhuji.
If you're performing bhakti very nicely, let's
For
say
bhakti,
अपराध भी चला गया, आप there's very little remaining. Just remaining so that your body is maintained. That's it. For example, I'm going to the extreme also. Still, one should not expect immediate results.
so you're saying, yeah, we shouldn't be expecting results. Why is that? Yes,
Yeah, immediate results.
we
No,
shouldn't be.
no, I'm doing, I'm doing. So immediately when I say, "Chatting for 10 years, I'm not getting anything. What is this? I don't think it's working. From some time, 20 years. Thoda ho gaya, but not enough. What is this? People say all sort of things. Why should we do that?
Because it is Krishna's mercy. Because it's
Okay.
based on Krishna's will.
Okay. Okay. Very nice. The Tenukampa verse is the mood mentally of the devotee when one is going to reversal in life. Okay, that's the Tenukampa verse.
Mm.
Right? But I'm saying here, so isn't this very close to Anmati? Yes, what he said is Bhakti Devi is as independent as Krishna.
Mm.
Why? Bhakti Devi is the Swarup Shakti, the very internal potency of Bhagwan. She is as independent as Sri Krishna is. As Sri Krishna is. So if she decides to give prema immediately, Q, she wants to do it. She did it. Right? If not, Not. That's it. She's as independent as Shri Krishna. Does it make sense? Does it make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji, yeah.
So when we say this verse in Bhagavatam, आपन्न संसृतम घोरम यन नाम विवशो घृणान तथा साधु विमोच्येत यद विभेति स्वयं भयम. This आपन्न संसृतम घोरम, this entanglement of this samsritam ghoram, this very vicious, horrific samsara, entangled in that, apara samsritam ghoram, yen nama vivusho avivusho ghranan. Even one takes unconsciously, one chants your name, yen nama avivusho ghranan, tatha sadhyo. Sadhyo means immediately. Tatha, at that point what happens? Tatha sadhyo vimuchyeta. One becomes liberated. अरे अच्छा, तो unconsciously also chant Hare Krishna. I'm still here, or someone is still here. So that is, so one can one say that is there an exaggeration? अरे वो ज्यादा बोल रहा है यार, ऐसा थोड़ा ना होता है. Then is that the case? Then is it, the scriptures glorify, especially the holy name, glorifying exaggeration. ऐसा थोड़ा ना होता है यार. I can see the person chant कर रहा है, अच्छे थे, अभी भी यहीं पे है, still here. What's the point? Is that the case? Is that over exaggeration or exaggeration? Or does it have any value? Or is it true?
One thing is we never know how much they have done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say the person you know.
But
Have
from
you had
previous, bhakti comes from previous lifetimes, right, Prabhuji?
yes, you're right. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Then I'm saying even with Instagram and what what the person has done, everything, still the person is not liberated. The thing is, when the verses in when especially in Shastra, especially Bhagavatam says chanting one rain, the chanting liberated, the Shastra is saying the probability is there, but will happen or not depends on the will of Bhakti Devi.
Hmm.
So that can happen. It's true. That may not also happen. That makes
Depending,
sense?
depending
Yeah.
on how much consciousness is pure or purer for.
Let's say, so in Bhakti Sam Sindhu, in the first certain Eastern section, the first section, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the first chapter, talks about Samanya Bhakti, talks about the general characteristics of Bhakti. In that general characteristics of Bhakti, one characteristic is Sudurlabha, very rare. Okay? The six characteristics of Bhakti, Uttama Bhakti. Okay? Six characteristics. Is Shubha, Kleshagni, Moksha Lagutakrita. Then we have Sudurlabha, Sadhananda Visheshatma, Shri Krishna Akarshani. These six different characteristics of Uttama Bhakti. Of the one is Sudurlabha, very rare. Durlabha means rare. Sudurlabha means very rare. In that Sudurlabha section, Shri Prabhupada quotes a verse or composes a verse. This sadhana augher anasangher. Augher means floods, multitudes, quantity. If you do so much sadhana, sadhana के ऊपर sadhana, you're doing 128 rounds, you're doing 64 rounds, you're doing this, that, you're flooding your life with sadhana. Sadhana augher, but doing without attachment. कर रहे बस. There's no attachment to it. Okay? That's one. He says that ऐसे करने वाले people doing like that, bhakti most likely will not. Prema bhakti they will not get. Mahabhakti they will not get. Okay? So मैं से yeah makes
Even
sense.
doing like a duty, you're saying.
Yeah, like duty वो कर रहे हैं बस कर रहे हैं कर
Oh,
duty. Again,
oh.
if you give duty, sometimes there's attachment and your duty. My Gurudev has said or someone said that okay, I will do it. And they do it nicely, they do it. Because someone has said so. That's also fine. That's also accepted in this case. In the other case, everyone does with so much attachment. Verse says, okay, with the opposite. Everyone does so much bhakti with attachment. Even then, bhakti is very difficult to attain. Very difficult. And he quotes a verse from Bhagavatam. Mukti dadhati karichit smana bhakti yogam. In the verse says, Krishna will give liberation very easily. Mukti dadhati karichit. At one point, he will give mukti also very easily. Smana bhakti yogam. Bhav bhakti, apaya bhakti is like, देखना पड़ेगा. Let me try. Let me see. Should I give? Should I not? Should I give? He loves me. He loves me not. He loves me. He loves me not. That kind of game he'll play. The next Mati. So it's not attachment should be there, no doubt. Without attachment, मिलेगा ही नहीं. But even with attachment, it's difficult. Why? Bhakti Devi is independent. Bhagwan, and he's a person. And Haripashpur says there is no mechanical formula to get that. You keep begging, please. So Sri Radha Govinda Maharaj, Vrindavan, he goes to a place called Shri Bhojan Sthali. Bhojan Sthali is the place where Sri Krishna used to have lunch with his cowherd friends together. Bhojan Sthali. And he's one of his most favorite places to visit. The most favorite places. One person asked, Maharaj ji, आप हर दिन वहीं पे क्यों जाते हो? So many places to go. Why do you go to the same place again every day? Do you know what he said? He said, when you go to the same house and knock every day, and then open, but keep on going every day. And one person they open. अरे क्या चाहिए आपको? What do you want? Why are you coming every day here? Every day I go to the place. One day. So go, what do you want? Say you. Happen, right? One day it will happen. With that, Asha, hope. So it's called Asha Bandh. That hope should never be given up. That's what I meant. That we should not be impatient. क्यों नहीं मिल रहा है? I want that. अभी चाहिए मेरे को. We should be patient. Asha Bandh. Hope. So all the acharyas, they all had hope. मिलेगा? क्यों नहीं मिलेगा? Hope. मिलेगा. That hope should never be given up. Does it make sense? I know how I came here. I have no idea. But but hopefully, does it make sense? Or
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, it is a very difficult process. Yes.
yeah. But in
Prabhu, I got,
yeah.
sorry, Prabhu, I got, no, I ended up the answer that he gives when Haripasha Prabhu is talking about the lottery, right? In the Kalakshepam class.
Yeah, lottery.
One in a million will get. That does not mean the system does not work just because
Yeah.
you don't get it. Yeah.
Yeah. And Prabhu
Yeah,
says, he says, भगवान से झगड़ के लेना पड़ेगा. झगड़ना पड़ेगा भगवान से. थोड़ा, no, I want it. I want it. As you mentioned, Madam is right. Determination.
Yeah.
दिखाना पड़ेगा. दिखाने के
yeah,
बाद भी कब मिलेगा पता नहीं.
right. Yeah, it was also hope giving that he said that it takes about 2 to 3 lifetimes. So it is a little hopeful compared
That 2
to
to 3 lifetimes is best case scenario.
best case scenario. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best case scenario. That's also again depend on past life impressions, how strong the impression is. This
Right.
impression. Best case scenario. But yes, this hope should not be given up. Asha bandha. And one of the qualities of bhava bhakti, those who attain bhava, is asha bandha samudkantha namagana sadhavachit. One of the qualities of bhava bhakta, a person of bhava is asha bandha. They are hopeful. For them, this bolte, I have hope. Bhava bhakti. But we should definitely have hope there. But we should do things it's like we should do things to influence Krishna's decision. Like Krishna will give yes or no. Sometimes, person will say, okay, I'll think about it. But then we can do certain things to influence the person's decision positively towards us. Yes?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Can you
Yeah.
hear me? So we should do things, find out things, what is it that can tilt decision in our favor. And we should do those things. तो किसी ने अच्छा खर्चा कर दो रहा है यार एकदम ठीक I think yeah to do whatever it takes to tilt the favor on our side झाड़ा झाड़ के लेना पड़ेगा influence Krishna's decision to show Krishna how much I want you. So we don't want things from Krishna, we want Krishna. Right? The more we show that proper intention, Krishna starts living towards us. I have no clue how we ended up here.
Yes, Prabhu, that is so helpful though. I really like this conversation actually. Can I ask a question?
Yes, Pali, please go ahead.
Um,
Without us.
so, but then in material world, we are doing, I mean, we are doing sadhana as well as we are doing our material kind of work related stuff, right? How do we intentionally do that in a Krishna conscious way? Like we are doing material things just to feed our material body or a home or car or whatever, right? Uh, that is still like avidya only, like Haripashad Prabhu was mentioning. How do we redirect that thinking and intention towards bhakti?
So one thing which I remember Hapashivu told me, but Avidya is he said that comparing different ashramas, right? For example, many people who not cultivate Avidya, only cultivate Vidya. Ashram, Babichara Ashram, they're only in there. And they don't know about Vidya much. But let's say we have kids. So I said, we have kids, I said, Puja, I'm done, I'm good. Or nahi, I'm done. Because the thing which you have come to realize, even the brahmachari is not going to realize. But we have gone to the avidya and said, we are done. I think I don't want this anymore. But that samskar is there. That makes sense, Mataji? So
Yeah, that makes sense.
at one point of time, it's not that we continue doing this and तक avidya करते रहेंगे avidya साथ में नहीं. We cultivate avidya. At one point, you have to slow down that part and increase the vidya part also. But by slowing the avidya part, you make yourself firmer, decision becomes firmer, you will not go back to doing this.
Right. Like at
Makes sense?
certain point we'll come to a point where
बस
enough, like
बस
it's
हो गया भाई
enough,
बस
just
यार
retire
सब
from
कुछ देख लिया है
like that. Okay.
सब कुछ देख लिया बस हो गया I'm done I don't want any more
Oh, I see.
nonsense that's I did my part my duty I'm done.
But still, even if we are doing, even at that stage, even in Vanaprastha stage, still there is a laukika thing that we have to do, whatever that is required for running the home or whatever.
Yes,
That is still
but what is so when you say Lokika thing when you are doing things to maintain the body when you home is for what reason?
it's to do bhakti, continue doing bhakti, right?
Bhakti. So Shri Jagannath Babaji Maharaj he used to say that I love going to the house of Shri Bhakti Thakur. Why? Because he knows how to treat a Vaishnava. So what was his home used for?
For treating Vaishnavas.
Treating Vaishnavas, to bring Vaishnavas, to feed the Vaishnavas. So we can have Lokika, we can have the body, we can have, but to do what? Vaishnava Seva. Of course, we have to maintain the body, right? The body has to be maintained to do seva because we're doing sadhana bhakti. Sadhana means krite sadhya bhavisa. Krite sadhya means doing things which are senses. How can we do things with our senses if the body is not maintained properly? Maintaining the body is not wrong, provided the intention is doing Krishna service. और वैष्णव सर्विस.
Yeah.
Maintaining body for our own enjoyment के लिए कर रहा है तो बात अलग है, but that's a different thing. Right?
Mm.
Maintaining body is not wrong, but intention matters. For whom, for what? सर वो सेवा करना है. Keep healthy, to serve Vaishnavas, serve my Guru, serve Shri Krishna. It's a service to seva unmukhe. Right? पूजा चरण
Seva
सेवा
unmukhe,
उन्मुख है.
yeah.
If their inclination to service is there, then it becomes perfect. Right? So whatever action, whatever we're doing, we're now engaging, managing family, being first ashram. Right? Because ashram is also a place, spiritual place. Ashram means what? Sharama means work. Ashram means very hard work. Ashram is also a place with a lot of hard work. But again, Krishna is the center. But if you're doing, all the some enjoyment कर रहे हैं, I mean, ashram girls are right now. किसमें girls ashram में है? Because very loosely the term is used. But I think we should know what it actually means. Right? So we've been engaging all this, taking care of our children. As you know, the fifth canto Srimad Bhagavatam, Rishabhdev says one should not become a father, mother, guru, or deva unless one is able to liberate the dependent. What is the meaning there? It means one should give the proper sanskaras to the child of the our dependent. उसके बाद हुआ कि नहीं वो हमारे ऊपर नहीं, हम that's not our on our hands. Right? So we're taking our children, but it's giving them samskaras. What do you mean by giving them samskaras? How can you give them samskaras? We have to talk about Krishna. Right? We
Yeah.
have to hear about Krishna. We have to do worship, deity worship, bhoga. But what are those? What are the limbs of bhakti? So inevitably we are engaging in limbs of bhakti to show our children and imprint samskars on them. Does this make sense, Mataji?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. But what is the most thing that Krishna will be impressed or pleased about sadhana? In general, there are so many limbs of sadhana that we are doing.
Yeah. First of all, it should be anukulta, purvak.
Okay, yeah.
Favorable inclination. The most important part.
Anukulasya.
Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam.
Yeah.
That has to be there. Anukulta Purvak, what limb of bhakti? What limb of bhakti? Matlab mukhya anga. So there are 64 limbs. Of that,
Right.
9 are prominent. So
Five
again,
of them.
sorry?
5 of them is the most.
Yeah, 5. So it's like, but the
Yeah.
9 are mentioned in Bhagavatam, right? Sharanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Bhasevanam.
Ha.
So of that, 9 one should take at least shelter of one and two other limbs also. So if we in Shri Bhakti Sagar Sindhu, after describing all 64 limbs of bhakti, Shri Rupa says that one can take ashraya, shelter of ekanga bhakti or anekanga bhakti. एकंग मीन्स एक अंग मतलब एक मुख्य अंग भक्ति और अनेक मुख्य अंग भक्ति. मुख्य basically means the 9% devotional service. Sharanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Bhasevanam. One can take shelter of one, or one can take many. Like Shri Amrish Maharaj.
Yeah.
So, but taking shelter, for example, you love hearing, for example. Keep hearing and do other limbs of bhakti also. That is the primary. We are chanting, that is the primary kirtanam, that's the primary limb, but you can do other limbs of bhakti also. But take one prime moksha ashraya of at least one. Right?
Yeah, okay.
So by doing that, so it's not that Krishna ye kar do, yaar, I love this more, okay? I love this one, I love that. No, all limbs are perfect. But especially last limbs, right? For example, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam, they are a bit difficult to practice. In Bhakti and Sindhu, it's mentioned. Especially Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam is very difficult to practice. Very difficult to practice.
What is an example for Atmanivedanam, Prabhuji, in the
Bali Maharaj.
Oh, Bali Maharaj. Okay. Yeah.
I think sadhana bhakti it becomes very difficult. It's very difficult to practice.
Mm.
Sakhi and Atma Nivedanam. Dasyam will be okay, yeah. But other things, these first three are the most powerful.
Shravanam, yeah.
Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Smaranam, very powerful. And that is dependent on Archanam. How do Archanam handle you hear and hear and remember, meditate, how can you do Archana?
Mm.
The backbone. So the point is the shelter of at least one,
Mm.
and then to all Abhyangas. Smaran is also very important. Why? The condition for at the time of death is Smaran.
Yeah.
Antakalecha mameva Smaran.
Maran Muktva Kalevaram. Yeah.
Smaran. Remembrance is there. So active cultivation of remembrance should start. And slowly, as we keep doing, that active will become passive in the sense that it will come naturally without having to put effort. Mhm. That will come at one point of time.
Mm.
Especially if you want which path. Say if you Rag Marg, if you want to, she Chakravarti Thakur says in Bhagavad Chandrika, the most prominent limb if is Smaran aspect in Rag Marg. But it should be accompanied with Kirtan. Because Kirtan is Yuga Dharma, it should accompany with Kirtan. But mind should be the most engaged. In any, as we see in Bhagavad Gita verse itself, how powerful is the mind. The more you engage the mind properly, everything kind of becomes stable. Again, it's not a one night process, overnight process. It takes time. But again, Asha Bandha, patience.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah. Thank you.
Prabhu, where in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu it's mentioned Sakyam and beyond is hard? Which?
In 6 limbs of Bhakti is mentioned, right? That's Sakyam is mentioned.
Okay,
In that section is mentioned.
okay. And you said Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur's which reference about what?
Ragavartama Chandrika.
Ragatmika Chandrika.
Ragavartama Chandrika.
Ragavartama. Okay.
Chandrika basically is a moonlight.
Ah,
Varta means the path.
okay.
The moonlight that illuminates the path of Raga is Ragavartama Chandrika.
Jai. Okay, Prabhu. Yeah. No, I just finished my course 2 for module 2 for Bhakti Shastri Prabhu. There also this topic in 12th chapter it comes, right?
Okay.
Smaranatmika Bhakti and Mananatmika Bhakti. So I also had this question because until 2nd, 3rd chapter, Krishna says intelligence comes above mind. Even in the chariot example that we give, my intelligence is always placed one level above mind because you discern scriptures with intelligence. But then in 12th chapter, we realize mind is even more important because you connect, I think emotionally you connect with mind. It's not just enough to have intellectual conviction who Bhagavan is, but also emotionally you'll have to connect with Bhagavan, and that can happen only through mind. Is that
Yes.
understanding correct, Prabhu? That's why mind is more superior.
Yeah, so again, to understand Tattva, intelligence has to be there to understand Tattva.
Right. Yeah.
What is there. And if one wants to go, even one wants to go deep into Aishwarya Bhav, intelligence that has to be Tattva has to be very important. Bhagwan is Bhagwan. Bhagwan, yes, Bhagwan is Supreme Person Godhead. But if you start having personal connection, then it becomes a matter of heart,
Yeah.
as I mentioned, right?
Yeah.
The heart part doesn't depend on logic much. Logic doesn't care that point, or intelligence doesn't care. Hey, Bhagwan are gaya, Bhagwan gaya, telde ne. I don't care, Bhagwan or not. That because, but the issue again, it should come organic naturally. That connection to Bhagwan becomes mine. That mamatva, right? Mindness. To degree of mindness we have with Bhagwan, right? That degree Aishwarya becomes essence, right? So it should be Aishwarya Sankuchita Prem.
Aishwarya
Sankuchita means less.
Sanko,
So,
please say. Yeah.
so the more Aishwarya is less, the more sweetness aspect will come out. Right? So even in Dwarka also there is sweetness, no doubt. But Aishwarya is also there. Bhagwan is big person, Maharaj, Bhagwan, 4 hands dikhate kabhi. The Aishwarya aspect also there. Right? But the sweetness also there. Sweetness, of course, sweetness is there. One experience sweetness at every point of time. But that sweetness has degrees. Right? You could say Aishwarya and Madhurya are inversely proportional. So first basic understanding is one should have Tattva. One should understand who Bhagavan is in Tattva. Fully understand. And then on that, one should understand rasa vichar. Without tattva, we should not do rasa vichar.
Yeah.
We should do rasa vichar. So Manatika Bhakti is very, very important. Once that foundation is set, who Bhagwan is, that's why the first 10 cantos are mentioned. And then the 10th canto is there. Tattva is understood, who Bhagwan is. And then 10th canto we can start.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, brother. Thank you so much.
Yes, Sabha Mataji, sorry. Thank you.
From what I understand about the mind, is it about the mind keeps chattering and we have to stop ignoring whatever the mind chatters at some point, but intelligence is different than the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then the affection is coming, love is coming from the heart. How, like, so when Krishna says we have to control the mind, that means we have to put our intelligence or turn our mind towards Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think about that? How do you explain that?
So right? So my mind, of course, when it's not used to think about Krishna, because we
Yeah.
millions of lifetimes, unlimited lifetimes, we've been doing all these activities, right? So instead of trying to forcefully do the mind, from hey mind, come here, teri to aaj, mm, take a shoe and beat the mind. If you keep doing that, becomes a problem. So you start saying, okay, नहीं करना है, okay, at least one, थोड़ा है, 5 मिनट कर सकते हैं हम लोग, just 5 minutes, internal conversation mind, just 5 minutes. उसके बाद okay, we'll do. You take it slow. Again, that shift of the mind from the other spectrum to the positive spectrum has to come naturally. If you have to forcefully,
I see.
it will work at one point of time. बाद में, if she's one crack, it will go inside and break open the entire thing. All your determination, everything will go to drain.
Yeah, okay. Based on previous samskars, whatever the mind is doing from the previous lifetimes, it's still carrying those, but then to naturally leave that and come to bhakti, stage of bhakti,
Mm.
we have to use our intelligence to learn a little bit and immerse
हाँ.
ourselves in bhakti. Through that, then the mind automatically follows. Is
Mind,
that way?
you keep saying mind 5 minutes, 5 minutes, and
Ah,
let have mind have the taste. कैसा लग रहा है? अच्छा लगा ना? हाँ, ठीक है. So slowly, say कैसा लगा? It's like having an internal conversation.
right, right.
कैसा लगा ना? Just 5 minutes, 5 minutes. आज 10 मिनट कर ले, आज 10 मिनट. See, एकादशी to that only 10 minutes today. Let's
Yeah.
do it. Okay. Let's look at कुछ चलेगा ना? कुछ don't think of anything. Just 10 minutes. Just do it. 10 minutes. Okay. Now we'll do something else. Slowly, it's like giving a taste to the mind.
Yeah.
But we should know what to do. Intelligence has to be sharpened. Fifth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, by studying Shastra, by going to listen. सुनते हैं क्या चल रहा है, देखते हैं. Listen. Listen to Harikatha. Keep hearing.
Keep
Mind
hearing.
may drag here and there, but keep hearing.
Yeah.
Right? Because name is powerful. So again, how will that affect? Even if you're not, at least we are attentive, or if you're not attentive, but if your seva is there, I want to do it, but mind is chal raha hai. I really want to heard what is going on. But the mind is doing parikrama of the entire universe. But the seva unmukha aspect is there. Bhagwan will come in the heart.
Mm.
And then the words in Bhagavatam. Pravishta karna randrena swana bhava saroruham dinoti shamalam krishna salila setha Pravishta karna randrena.
Which one?
Randra means holes.
Which verse is this?
In the second canto. This is is 285. Pravishta karna randrena. That's pravishta, enter, holds the ear. Once it enters, holds the ear. Swanam, the lotus of the heart. Swanam bhava saroruham. It enters the lotus of the heart. Okay? And what happens? Dunoti. Dunoti means cleans. Dunoti sha malam. Amalam. Dunoti sha malam. All the impurities starts cleaning. Who? Dhroti Shamalam, Krishna. Krishna starts cleaning the dirt. We don't have the capacity to clean the dirtiness in our heart, which has been there for unlimited lifetimes. We don't have the capacity, Shakti, to do that. We just have to open our doors of our ears. Let Krishna enter the holes of the ear. And the spirit, there's no biological connection between the ear and the heart. But there's a spiritual connection between the ear and the heart. Dhroti Shamalam Krishna. And the example is given. Salila se tha Sharat. Just like before Sharat Ritu,
Yeah.
Varsha Ritu,
Yeah.
monsoon. The water is very muddy, right?
Yeah.
But then when Sharat comes, and this rain also that time, what happens? Fresh water, when it enters the muddy holes, all the mud will come at one point of time and fresh water will remain. So when Krishna enters the heart, Krishna says, okay, aaj se saaf karenge isko aaj. He rolls up his sleeve and starts cleaning that. But the only thing we have to do is Pravishta karna randhana, open our ears with same attitude, same mukha. 285.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this is very helpful.
Just stay there. ठीक है रहो, छोड़ना नहीं, फिर कोई का जोड़े रहो, छोड़ना नहीं. Hang in there. And let mind gives mind some taste. Keep it a regular taste. कैसा लगा? कैसा लगा? आएगा.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. See verse number 10. बड़ा है क्या? Okay. No, we'll do 10 next time. No worries. It'll take 5 minutes to read everything. Okay. So next we'll continue from next time. The next verse, Krishna. If specific peak, right? So if one, if mind, the senses are good around the mind, so many things taking place because of mind, one's when out of the body. If it's so, okay, that makes sense. Then why can't people see this happening? It's so damn straight. Why can't people see this? Right? Krishna talk about the next verse. Right? Why can't people see this? So the next verse. So I think we only need 2 verses again. We're back to our initial cadence. 2 verse verses. So, but yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Any target questions? Anything?
This space is very good, Prabhu. We'll take our
Yeah.
own sweet time to
Also
finish.
time.
Very good.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Chakapatri Vishik Pasam to Bhirja. Pitana Pavane Dio Shibhur Monuman to Vishnu ki Jai. Bhagavad Gita Shibhur Par ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Prabhu. And thank
Hare
you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mati. Thank you, Mati.
Prabhu, you recorded this session, na?
I believe so. Yes, there is YouTube चल रहा है.
Okay. Jai. Okay. Thank you.